Hey guys, welcome back to the Bayside Fabrication YouTube channel. Well, I have a throttle body saga going on at this point, and I just wanted to share with you what's been going on with this car. It's been running for about a week and a half, 2 weeks almost? No, probably a week and a half. And yeah, I've been battling an air leak through the throttle body, and I'm going to show you everything I've done, everything I've tried, and I've wasted so much time just trying to get this resolved, and it's just not getting better. Thanks for watching, and let's get this problem solved. All right, guys, so what we have here is we had a good idle at first, and then we blipped the throttle, and went up to what? 1,300, 1,400 RPMs again.
Yeah, we can't control the idle at all.
Yeah,
right now.
We can't get it down to where we want it. So that means there's a leak somewhere. And I am extraordinarily confident that it's not an intake manifold because I put 100+ PSI of pressure to it, and the only place it was leaking was out the throttle body. Furthermore, when I smoke tested it, it was coming out the throttle body. So now what we're going to do, in order to seal off this throttle body, my 1.5-year-old's Play-Doh, and we're going to start the car, and I'm going to seal up this throttle body mechanically, and this should 100% stall the car. And if it doesn't, then there's something going on that we don't know about. Cracked head, or I mean, who knows? I doubt that's the case. I have a feeling it's going to be this throttle body for sure. So Luke, whenever you want to start it, I suppose I'll get this Play-Doh going. Okay, I'm ready when you are.
All right, dude.
I'm gonna blip the throttle real quick. There it is.
So I'm going to assume you used the Play-Doh.
Yeah, that was the Play-Doh snake, dude.
All right, cool. So I think it's safe to assume that now I think it's
beyond an assumption at this point.
I think it's important to understand that.
Oop, hear all that vacuum just pull out?
Yep. I think it's important to understand that with putting the Play-Doh in there, we understand that, you know, it's not going to allow any air in whatsoever.
Right.
So we understand that. However, with it closed, we should be able to, if it has a good enough, you know, tolerance on the machine work, we should be able to control the idle.
Right.
And that also just proves the fact that you have a big vacuum after you seal it off, and it kills the motor and it creates that vacuum. Then
yeah, and when you bump it open, it goes
yeah,
and it sucks it.
It's fair to say that it's not anywhere
right.
else but the throttle body.
Right. It's letting so much air in that, you know, it can't get the revs lower than freaking 1,300 RPM. So we're going to search for a new throttle body and go from there.
The fact of the matter is, you shouldn't have to make it.
Yeah, I shouldn't be here filing it and, you know, doing all this crap. I mean, you know, I tried to sand off some high edges, and still, when this throttle body blade, when you snap it closed hard, it sticks. Like, sticks to the point where if you hit the gas pedal, it won't even, like, you have to slam it, which is
possible that it could have been dropped and it may have, you know, changed the bore. So.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. Who knows?
It's different all the way around, man.
It is. I found that when I put the Play-Doh on, right here is where it made the biggest difference. This corner,
right here?
Yep, right there.
It's unfortunate, man, that we can't just.
I wish there was. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, like, these are.
I mean, I could file it. I can whittle away at that thing until the cows come home, and it'll eventually have to seal, right? But I put the.
If you whittle too much, right, it's gonna
make
it worse.
Well, I put the machining blue on it, and saw where it was hitting and wasn't hitting, so I took a file. You know what I mean? I tried, but it obviously. I mean, it was probably better than before because we also had a vacuum leak before.
Yeah.
In the intake manifold, so I might have made it a little better, but. I mean, I don't know how much messing I want to do with this thing. That's the problem. When you snap it closed, you can't open it.
Snap it closed, right? It's touching in certain areas. And I mean, it isn't a lot of air, but it's enough, right?
That's what I'm saying. It's so small, but obviously that's the issue.
It's big in like certain areas, right? So like, there's a little chunk of Play-Doh right there that you can't see, but like right there, it's big right here. So I mean, like, that's. I bet if you were to try to put a feeler gauge through there, there's probably a decent
Right.
decent amount. I mean,
And like I said, with a throttle body this big, if you have a gap this big and then this big and then this big, it's just gonna it's gonna be exponential, the issue.
yeah,
So.
but I mean, there's, we can't control it, and we just proved that we could, choke the motor out if obviously we fill all the egg, because
Right.
obviously this.
So we just need to make a Play-Doh, permanent Play-Doh seal in here.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I favored this to one side, and it's a perfect seal pretty much on the bottom side. I can't see any air through it. It's just too small, really. I wound up having to take too much off the blade in order to make it round. So my thought was like, well, that tells me that the bore of the throttle body is good. I measured the bore, and it's 90 millimeters on the dot all the way around. So the bore's not out around. So my thought was, well, why don't I just get a new throttle body blade, or make a throttle body blade? It's just a flat piece of brass that is, turned into a circle. I mean, it's really no big deal. So then I thought, well, maybe I could just test this just to see if it would even work. And I bought a cheap Amazon deal, next day delivery, 90 millimeter throttle body. So, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this throttle body is actually, I mean, all it needs to do is open and close. See, this snaps open and closed. When you snap it closed, it doesn't stick. This one, when it snaps closed, it sticks shut. So I don't know what the deal was with this throttle body, but my plan is, and they almost look to be the exact same bolt spacing, is to take out this throttle body blade, throw it in my K-tuned, which is already all set up for my car with our throttle bracket and our blow-off valve and the spacing. I mean, it's, putting on a new throttle body isn't just putting on a new throttle body and calling it a day. I have Van Gen clamps welded onto it, and it's kind of a deal to swap throttle bodies. So I'm going to try to pop this blade out, throw this blade in there, and see if it works. And if it works, I have a $60 fix instead of a $390 fix. And then on top of the $390 I spent, I still have to go and redo a bunch of crap to make it work. I can't see any light anywhere. Now I did notice, compared to the K-tuned, I'm not sure if it's just worn, but the edge, it's hard to see, I'm sure, but the edge of this blade has a bevel on it going in one direction. This blade was pretty much rounded over, so I'm not sure if this thing's just super used or what the deal was, but I mean, this is mint. I did strip out my screws, the screw head, so I'm gonna go grab a couple more screws, but guys, that's the solution. Okay, try this again. What I got is some valve grinding compound, and I'm just gonna take this stuff, butter up my throttle body here, put it all inside here, and we're just gonna exercise our throttle body like that and see if we can just I mean, we're talking, I can't even measure it, it's so small, but I have the throttle body on, and if I like tap it with my hand, to really close it, it will choke out the car. So I'm only trying to get rid of that. Like this, it's crazy how much air this is sucking in. And it's definitely the throttle body. I mean, I put 120 PSI to my intake manifold, and I didn't have any leaks. I'm going to snap this throttle body open and close about 5,000 times, and we'll see if this works. Okay, here we go. Attempt number 3015 to get this throttle body. Well guys, I had the car idling at about 1,000 to 1,100 RPM last night, so I'm kind of happy with that. Now we just tossed the intercooler back on because that's going to obviously throw more air at it, and we're going to see how it does now. Either way, I have a new throttle body that I'm going to be ordering within the next 24 hours here. Okay guys, unfortunately I stripped the bolt in the intake manifold. Okay guys, well, it's time for this intake manifold to come back out. I wound up ordering a K-tuned 80mm throttle body. Now, I wasn't really excited about going back with a K-tune, but it was in stock. I got a good deal on it. If it doesn't work, I can return it. That's the plus. And it was able to get here in a day. I was also hoping, I'm pretty sure the actual physical dimensions of the K-tuned 80 are identical to the 90, so I might not have to redo all my blow-off valve, intercooler, connector, etc., with that setup, but we'll see what it looks like when it gets here. So in the meantime, we just have to drop the motor down, which isn't a big deal because now I've redone my exhaust here, and I should just be able to pull off some connectors, drop the motor down about 6 inches, pull the throttle body off, or pull the intake manifold off, fix the stripped hole that wound up happening because we had to take off and on this intake manifold about 300 times. So we're gonna pop that off, and we're just gonna make this happen, guys. I'm so sick of dealing with this throttle body thing. I'm hoping the 80mm will be a good resolution. It's gonna be plenty of air for this motor, that's for sure, and our power goals. And yeah, so I'm just hoping the smaller diameter throttle body, if there is any kind of gaps in the blade, it'll be significantly smaller than the 90 and let in less air. And hopefully we can just get this thing under control so we can move forward with the rest of the tuning process here, because having idle fluctuating from 1,700 to 1,300 RPM just isn't working out. We need to be able to control this, and it just needs to be done, and it needs to be done right. So that's what I'm doing today. Well, look what just came in the mail. I was just about to pull the intake manifold off this, and we got our new throttle body. So, there she is. All right. Now I'm looking at it right now, and it appears that this flange should bolt right to here. I believe this is just the same as the 90. It's just not as big of a bore. This one also has an idle air control valve, and it's got a map sensor port, which I really don't need to use those, so I'll have to figure out how to plug those up, which shouldn't be a problem. This one feels pretty good. It really doesn't look all that bad. Here goes nothing. Well, we have our manifold off, and this hole is completely stripped out. Now I'm going to do a couple things here. I'm actually going to add studs so they come out. So I'll remake this whole plate. I'm going to cut this off and just remake the plate because there's no room to really fix this in any reasonable way. All right, guys, this is our roughed out surface here for our new throttle body. And I just gotta throw it in the mill now and just clean up these edges with an end mill and square everything off. Kind of give these a nice radius around the corner, and that will be that. We have a millimeter hole saw here, and we just have our center punch, and we're going to drill a hole in this bad boy. Well, there we go. There's our new hole. Just gonna clean it up with a little die grinder to get any little sharp edge off. We'll now put the throttle body on and mount mark the 4 holes for the bolt pattern. Drill, tap the holes, throw some studs in it, and that's that. Intake manifold all set up on the milling machine here, and we're just gonna skim a few thousandths off to flatten out the surface. I put the throttle body on, and it was a little out of being flat, just because welding it, you know, turns it into bananas almost all the time. So we're gonna get this sucker skimmed down, and it'll have a nice flat mating surface. All right, there's our nice machined edge. And then we'll just deburr the edge there to get rid of these sharp bits from the machine work. All right, guys, let's see if this works. Stalled immediately. That's a very good sign. All right, let me adjust this throttle blade out just a little bit because it's all the way closed. All right, just gave it another little crack. Man, I can only imagine what the deal was with the other one. Unbelievable. Look at that guy. I can have it idle at whatever I want. Like just over 1,000 RPM. That's unbelievable to me. Well, I'm glad that's over with. Now, I'm just trying to think of what the problem could have been with this. Only thing I could think is that my flange on the intake manifold that I had to cut off was warped. But that's really the only thing I can think of. But then again, that wouldn't even make any sense because when I pressure tested it on the head on the bench, there was no leaks around the throttle body to intake mating surface. You know, there would have been bubbles coming out all over the place with that much pressure on there. So guys, I don't even know. I mean, that's just, I'm not even gonna sweat about it. $360 fix, and we're good to go. Well, guys, that solves it. I don't even know what to say. I can't believe, I don't know what the problem was. But we're just gonna move forward. And that's the saga coming to an end, thank God. So, the only thing preventing me from driving this right now is getting the coolant situated. It was still overheating. Last time, you know, we ran it for probably a half an hour, and we have to turn on the heater to cool the car off, and it was still at like 195, almost 200, and the radiators weren't getting hot. So I'm sure there's a bubble in the system still, even though I thought I did a good job bleeding it. Obviously not. So I'm gonna get that squared away, and man, maybe we'll take this thing for a test rip on the next one, huh? Let's shoot for that. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for sticking with me, and let's rip this thing, huh? See you on the next one.